Hello and welcome to another session. In this session, I will give you a quick introduction to SAP and we'll take a look at history of SAP and Fiori as well. So let's get going. Let's take a look at the company. So the company is headquartered in Waldorf, Germany with customers worldwide. For example, Coca-Cola is SAP's client. You can see Burger King here. We have Shell Petrol Pump, Lamborghini, Lenovo. There are so many common names, and this is just a very small number of clients that I'm showing here. Almost any company that you can think of, any big company, there's a very good chance that they are using SAP for their day-to-day operations. Now that we know about the company, let's take a look at their product. So SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing, and I think some of you might already know that, and we always pronounce it as three independent letters, SAP, rather than saying SAP. So SAP is completely wrong. You should always pronounce it as SAP. SAP's core product is Enterprise Resource Planning Software. Now they are a leader in this industry. There are some competitors as well. For example, Salesforce is one of SAP's competitor. We have Oracle. We even have Microsoft. Now, the question arises, what is ERP then? ERP is a software which can be used to manage and plan different operations, activities that usually a big company needs. For example, let's say you have 10 employees, so it's very easy to manage 10 employees on an Excel or even in some physical files. But when the number grows, it becomes really difficult and challenging to manage and to even have an overview of how many employees I have. So this is just one of the examples I'm giving you. This can apply to supply and demand as well. You can easily manage the supply when you have few customers, but once you have thousands of customers, it really becomes difficult. The same things can apply to even a manufacturing plant. When you have one manufacturing plant, it's really easy to manage the vendors, pay them, and even the stock that I need for manufacturing. But when you have multiple manufacturing plants, especially at different geographical locations, it becomes challenging. What's more difficult is the information and the data exchange between different departments within your companies. For example, your finance needs to know how much you are paying for the stock that you are acquiring and how much you are getting from the customers, right? Your HR needs to know what's the salary bracket individuals are in and what are we ready to pay if we are hiring new members, right? Your CEO needs to know what profits are going to be for this quarter. ERP helps integrate these different departments. It helps them communicate with each other. It helps with the seamless flow of data and information, which in turn makes it easy to run businesses, especially for the large organizations. And that's what the selling point of ERP software is. So if you are working with SAP, you might have heard some words like SAP ERP, SAP S4 HANA, SAP on-premise, or SAP on cloud. Now these are keywords which are more or less refers to the same SAP software. Now let's take a look at SAP's history. So SAP started off in 1972 when computers were really new. So as I told you earlier, SAP is headquartered in Germany, and this is where SAP started. SAP's modern name is derived from its German name, which you can see on the screen. So their first product was in 1973, and it had one module which was finance. But then SAP grew from 1973 to 1981, and that's when they launched their SAP R2, which was the next iteration, and then it had more than one module like SD, MM, FI. Now SAP kept improving, and in 1992 they launched their first proper three-tier architecture software called SAP R3. And this is also the time when a lot of big names like Coca-Cola, General Motors, and even some other names, they started using SAP. So SAP became really big from 1992 to 2004. It grew rapidly, and in 2004 SAP launched their next generation of ERP software. They named it SAP ERP Central Component, or ECC 5.0, followed by ECC 6.0 the year after. Now, SAP kept upgrading this yearly through patches, and the latest version of ECC, which was launched by SAP in 2015, is still being used by many customers. In 2015, SAP launched their new next generation software, which they called SAP S4 HANA. And this is where full-fledged Fiori usage started. Before S4 HANA, the UI of choice was called GUI, SAP GUI. It was built for 1990 and 2000 systems, but internet in general has come a long way from 2004 to 2015, so there was a need for a new UI, and that's the problem that Fiori solved. Now after 2015, SAP has been continuously evolving and delivering yearly upgrades. S4 HANA is their latest flagship product, and it's being continuously improved. Now if we take a look at just Fiori, so as I mentioned, Fiori really started in 2015, but SAP actually introduced it even before that. So SAP introduced Fiori in 2013 with very limited apps at that point of time, and the intention of SAP at that time was to present it as a solution for mobile applications. So Fiori was even available before S4 HANA, and there are still some clients who are using Fiori for their ECC system. But then Fiori rapidly expanded, and SAP added more and more apps as it was adopted by customers. In 2015, with SAP HANA, with SAP S4 HANA launch, this is when Fiori really took off, and this is where you can even think this is where Fiori, as you know it today, really started. So after 2015, there has been constant improvements with Fiori. SAP has also released few themes throughout the years. The very first theme that SAP launched with was called SAP Blue Crystal, but then SAP introduced another UI enhancement, another theme called SAP Belize. It stayed there for almost 3 years, and then in 2019 SAP introduced SAP Quartz, which is even used till today. And now recently SAP has announced another theme, which is known as SAP Horizon. Some of the things I think to note is in 2021 SAP introduced a concept called SAP Pages and Spaces, which deprecated their old concepts of groups. Now we'll take a look at this when we move further in this course, but it's something important to note in the timeline. In the next session, we'll learn a bit more about Fiori and look at the various Fiori deployment options.